The sun beat down on us, a typical sweltering Washington, D.C. day. I was there with my 2 kids, Sarah and Tom, 7 and 10 respectively, for their first visit to Arlington National Cemetery. We'd talked about it beforehand, about the respect and solemnity of the place, especially the tomb of the unknown soldier. They were excited, but also a little nervous, which I thought was appropriate. We arrived just as the changing of the guard was about to begin. The crowd was thick, a mix of tourists, veterans, and families, all waiting patiently. There was a hush, a sense of shared reverence, as the immaculate soldiers began their precise, almost balletic movements. The click of their heels, the crisp commands, the slow, deliberate pace. It was mesmerizing. Sarah gripped my hand, her eyes wide, and even Tom, usually fidgety, was completely still. Then it happened. From the edge of the crowd, a woman, probably in her late 40s or early 50s, pushed her way forward. She had that entitled look, you know the one. Sunglasses perched on her head, a designer bag slung over her shoulder, a permanent frown etched on her face. She was talking loudly on her phone, oblivious to the silence, her voice a jarring interruption. People around her were shushing her, giving her dirty looks, but she just ignored them, her conversation about some trivial complaint about her hotel room continuing unabated. The guard, a young man with an incredibly stoic expression, was in the middle of his path, his rifle at his shoulder. As he turned, this woman, who had somehow managed to get within inches of the rope, swung her arm out, seemingly to emphasize a point in her phone conversation. But it wasn't an accident. Not entirely. Her hand, open and flat, connected with the guard's cheek. A sickening smack echoed through the sudden, stunned silence. My breath caught in my throat. Sarah gasped, and Tom instinctively pulled closer to me. The entire crowd froze. You could literally hear a pin drop. The woman, oblivious for a split second, continued talking, then her eyes widened as she realized what she'd done, and the absolute silence that had fallen. The guard, bless his soul, didn't flinch. Not a muscle. His eyes, though, they held a flicker of something, a momentary spark of disbelief, perhaps, quickly replaced by that unyielding discipline. He completed his turn, his movements still precise, still perfect, as if nothing had happened. But something had happened. The crowd, which had been silent in shock, started to stir. A low murmur began to ripple through the people. It wasn't angry, not yet, but it was a collective intake of breath, a shared outrage that was palpable. The woman, suddenly aware of the 100+ pairs of eyes glaring at her, stammered, "Oh, I didn't mean to." Her phone slipped from her hand and clattered to the ground, unnoticed. Then, from behind her, another guard, the one waiting to be relieved, stepped forward. He hadn't broken stride, his movements still part of the ceremonial choreography, but his eyes were fixed on her. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. The sheer force of his presence, the quiet authority radiating from him, was enough. 2 other guards, who had been standing at attention nearby, were suddenly at her side. They didn't grab her, didn't shout. They simply, and very firmly, escorted her away from the rope, away from the tomb, away from the hallowed ground. She started to protest, her voice cracking, but their grip was unwavering, their faces devoid of emotion. They just moved her. The ceremony continued, unbroken. The guard who had been slapped maintained his perfect composure, finishing his walk, his turns, his every movement a testament to his training and dedication. He didn't acknowledge the crowd, didn't acknowledge the woman. He was a sentinel, unyielding. As the guards led the woman away, the crowd, which had been holding its breath, let out a collective sigh. And then, something truly remarkable happened. Slowly, tentatively at first, then with more conviction, people started to clap. It wasn't a raucous applause, but a soft, respectful, yet powerful patter of hands. It grew louder, a wave of solidarity washing over the cemetery. It was for the guards, for their unwavering dignity, for the sacred trust they upheld. It was an apology from all of us, for one person's egregious disrespect. Tears pricked my eyes. Sarah, still holding my hand, looked up at me, her little face serious. "Mommy, that was very rude," she whispered. "Yes, honey," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "It was. But did you see how brave the soldiers were?" She nodded. Tom, usually quick with a sarcastic remark, was silent, watching the receding figures of the woman and the guards. I could see him processing it, understanding the weight of the moment. The applause eventually died down, replaced by a renewed, deeper quiet. The changing of the guard concluded, the new guard taking his post with the same solemnity as his predecessor. The air felt different now, cleansed somehow. The act of disrespect had been met with an overwhelming wave of respect, and it had transformed the atmosphere. As we walked away, I felt a renewed sense of pride and gratitude. My kids had witnessed something truly ugly that day, but they had also witnessed something incredibly beautiful. The unwavering commitment of the soldiers, and the quiet, powerful unity of a respectful crowd. It was a lesson they wouldn't soon forget, and neither would I.